Chris-Grollnek is a retired police detective corporal and active shooting expert. Chris, here we go again. Welcome back to the show, man. Unbelievable. And first of all, welcome to the show. Thank you for taking the time with us.
Hey, good morning, Joe. Thanks for having me.
So, I'm trying not to be conspiratorial this morning because I just have such distrust of the United States government these days, my friend. So, give us your overview on the motivation of the shooter. Everything seems suspect to me. What do we know at this point, Chris?
Wow. Well, then I don't have great news to cheer you up. I don't have. I mean, it's no laughing matter, right? This is almost. It's a comedy of errors. It's not so funny. The Secret Service batting average right now is 89.1%. 46 presidents, 5 have received bullets. When you start thinking like that, and we look to them to be the premier zero defect, zero problematic agency or administration that is, bestowed the responsibility of handling the most powerful person in the world. And you see everything, right? And I am about a 0% conspiratorialist, and I know you know that conspiratorialist. I don't buy into a lot of it. However, when things don't add up, you just have to try to find the reason with logic, not emotion. So I'm trying to look through that lens. Yeah. And I don't understand my question. I think I would have, and by no means do I think I'm a Secret Service agent. No means do I think I would have done better. I am simply saying from the ground, this is the job they signed up for. This is the job they failed at in this area, whether it was them or Homeland Security or whomever was handling that business. But allowing a shooter on an open platform that's maybe one of 5 elevated positions in an open field environment and allowing them that much time to assemble themselves, gather themselves, and, perhaps this killer, right, or would-be assassin had mental issues, not gun issues, because it takes an exceptional amount of readiness in your own brain to calm yourself down at a static range. Right, or if you're shooting for qualification, or if you go into battle and somebody's shooting at you, let alone trying to do what he did, which was take an ultimate shot, and he got so close. It's not nerves of steel. It's probably, I'm not a psychiatrist, but some kind of psychosis. He just didn't care. So when that happens, and they always say that when someone's willing to trade their life for the life of the president, they're going to win. Well, I don't even, this person did that. Of course, he didn't succeed on the second part. However, he had. It wasn't like there's a famous quote from the Warren Commission from Kennedy. You couldn't open an umbrella that day without the Secret Service having a gun on you. This kid had a gun up on the rooftop for over a minute, maybe 2. So I don't understand. All I can tell you is the solutions that you and I have talked about for basic open area environment shootings. This is just on the grandest scale. There's weapons detection, Joe. I mean, those apps where you on TikTok, Instagram, whatever, and you can count how many pieces of lumber are in the back of a truck. Yeah. Imagine that in every camera in that area or on a drone. Wow. And anytime a weapon comes out, the camera picks up the little stick and says, hey, that's a gun, 100% confirmed. And the Secret Service counter sniper has 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 positions pre-located, which I'm sure they did. I'm positive because that's standard procedure. And it just says, hey, above position 3, man with a gun. Problem solved instantly. There's no threat. There's no use of force rules. The use of force rules is neutralize anybody with a gun pointing it at the former president. I mean, it really is that simple. And that's what buys into and fuels your questions of, are you kidding?
Too, and I think I guess suspect because you bring up the JFK assassination. I was 12 years old, and then it didn't stop there. Went to Bobby Kennedy, went to Martin Luther King, to Bobby Kennedy, and who knows who else back in the 60s when I was coming through junior high school and high school. Right. And I immediately think that this is where we are. But I don't want to be inflammatory on the radio. I have to be very, very careful. I have good colleagues that couch me in that regard. But I'm telling you what, this is inexcusable. This guy, you got Chris, you got regular people who are picnicking, not close. They're 100, yards away, whatever it is. And then they're going, oh, there's a guy climbing up on the roof. It's out there. It's on video. And then the police officer goes,
it's a gun. Right.
Yeah. Right. And yeah. And then the cops go, I guess one cop went up there and then the guy was going to shoot at the cop. So the cop bailed. it's inexcusable that they got there. And then those of us,
that far?
Yeah, and then you can't help but think, was this supposed to happen? But I'm not supposed to say that because you don't want to be conspiratorial. But I mean, and now I'm reading here, and I don't know that it's fact, but I'm reading here that the Secret Service is blaming the local police. Were those snipers local police, Chris? Do we know?
Well, they had cat team patches with Secret Service on their arm. That's a counter assault team. That's doubtful. If they were local, they wouldn't wear those patches if they were local. That's counter assault team from Secret Service. And let me tell you, they did an exceptional job when they started to do their job. The problem was the pre-incident planning, the advance. Something went wrong between there and the moment the former president opened his mouth to speak, and then following that, when the person was on the roof. It should have never got to a police officer climbing on the roof. So whoever is to blame would probably be the person responsible for the protection party itself. But I doubt we're going to see that. And I am not being bombastic against the Secret Service by saying they have an 81%, safety rate of staying alive I'm saying for presidents, not for protectees. Because if you start factoring in those things, then it gets much different. The calculus changes. So just presidents, 89.1% of the time they're going to be okay. I don't want to bet on that other 10%. We're supposed to be perfect. And there are ways to be perfect. They use technology. The government uses technology. Department of Defense uses it. Why aren't they using it? And it's readily available to them. That's what baffles my mind. And I want to just make this point quickly. And I know I've gone on a rumble today, but let me tell you that everything you and I have spoke about for the past, year or two now, is always about a solution, right? I have jumped up and down about different companies and, just things that I know of, not affiliations. The SCYLLA AI is the first thing that came to my mind when I'm watching the video. Somebody said, hey, somebody shot, shots fired at the rally. I'm like, oh, man, another one. And then I saw the picture. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, So then the first thing I think of is why was their drone not deployed? Why wasn't there gun detection? Just gun detection, saying, hey, there's a gun here. And then if they had gunshot detection, it would have it would have brought back the radius to the shooter, and the counter sniper would have even been, a minute or a second faster. But it should have never got to that because it's like where's Waldo? You don't need to guess anymore. The drone's in the air telling you there's a gun. It's 100% accurate.
It's amazing. Chris, always a great chat. Always a great. Thank you for your service as a police officer. Thanks for joining us on the show. Keep us posted. Solution-based. We're trying, Chris. We're trying, my brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
You too, indeed. Chris-Grollnek, a retired police detective, corporal, and active shooting expert.